desk lamp throws a circle on the wood. Ledger open in the middle where the ink dries dark and good. Window glass, a black mirror full of shipping yard lights. You're pacing by the bookshelf while I total up your nights. On the corner sits a briefcase with the hinges polished thin. Safe door hums behind the panel like a low mechanical grin. Clock hand crossed toward midnight, second ticks like distant steel. Every move you're dreaming, kid, I've already had to feel. When you first stepped in this office, all sharp shoes and sharpened eyes, talking loud about the future, about cutting out the lies. I handed you a folder with the names and what they own. Showed you how a quiet promise weighs more than a borrowed throne. You learn fast where the money sleeps, where the softer ledges hide. But you still chase noisy victories, want the city on your side. Keep the board in balance while you gamble with the flame. Every page I turn on you adds a shadow to your name. Paper never shakes, kid, columns never look away. They remember every favor long after the faces fade. When there's red in the margin, someone's gotta pay. I'm the one who circles names and folds the night away. I don't shout, I don't threaten, I just balance what you earn. Turn the numbers into choices till the choices start to burn. You can dance for their attention, you can chase your little fame, but when there's red in the margin, I decide who keeps their name. Tonight your line runs closer to the edge than you can see. Marked up figures in the column where it should read clean 3. The motel trick you improvised, that deal you overplayed, sits here now as quiet interest with a cost you haven't paid. I tap the end of this fountain pen along your latest trail. See the pattern in your chaos, like the outline of a jail. You stop pacing when I close the book and lean back in my chair. I don't have to raise my voice to let you feel the weight of it. Just 'cause you like the way it sounds. Never trust a restless soldier, always staring at the crowns. Never bet the house on men who brag about the doors they've kicked. Never leave a debt in motion when the interest runs too quick. Keep your fingers off the glamour, keep your pulse inside the plan, 'cause the last line in this column writes the story of a man. When there's a red in the margin, there's a reckoning in the room. You can smell it in the silence, feel it hanging like perfume. I don't deal in empty warnings, I just mark where paths all turn, where the sum of all your comes to take what you have earned. You can play at being fearless, you can own the smoke. number that I didn't know. Muffled breathing on the speaker, engine idling soft and low. Motel key upon the table, metal tag reads 304. Thin blue curtains barely hanging, scuffed up carpet, swollen door. You said I just did something bad, you can't ever see daylight. I looked down at that cold brass tag. You said you called the man who lives in nights. I don't ask for long confessions, I don't need your every sin. I just walk into your damage and decide where we begin. Suitcase by the leaning armchair, jacket folded by the bed, bathroom fan that hums like thunder, tile still holding what you dread. All that shaking in the corner doesn't change what must be done. I'm the last clean pair of footprints when the other one should run. You think power's in the cufflinks, polished shoes and quiet lies. Real control lives in the shadows that can't look you in the eye. I'm the man you call at midnight when your hands can't stay clean. I can smooth the crooked edges till the picture looks serene. I decide what disappears and what you have to carry still. I'm the quiet final verdict when you can't afford the will. You can brag about your legend, all the ghosts that stain your pride, but they ride inside my silence when you call me late at night. Now it's me and burnt black coffee at a diner off the road, neon buzzing over chrome, a jukebox humming something low. Your name scribbled on a napkin, folded once and tucked away. Truckers talking about the weather while I price the part you'll pay. Watch the sugar fall and settle, stirred it twice and let it sit, thinking how a younger version of myself once sounded just like this. Every favor cuts a tally that your ledger never showed. Every problem that I bury finds a pocket in my soul. One day you'll unlock a hallway with a key you can't return, and the eyes that meet you back will be a stare you had to earn. I'm the man you call at midnight when your courage starts to slide. I can make the mark look smaller, I can move it from your side. I can straighten out your story so you walk back into life. But you'll owe me one more shadow every time we make it right. So before you dial that number, kid. Remember what it buys. When you lean on men like me, you're buying silence with your life. The building's almost empty, just a low hum in the wires. Desk lamp draws a yellow circle over ledges, phones and files. I loosened up my collar, let my jacket hold the chair. Your name curves across a letter I don't plan to ever share. Red pen, black pen, open ledger, all the columns straight and tight. Every favor, every payout, every buried crooked right. Out beyond the tinted windows, this whole city feels on cue, and I'm balancing its numbers with one line that leads to you. I'm the quiet in the meeting when the doors all click and seal. I'm the hand behind the balance, turn a loss into a deal. Shift a number, shade a transfer, hide a storm behind a smile. Turn a problem into profit if you leave me with a while. I keep folders in the cabinet, keep the real books in my head. I can double someone's fortune with a sentence left unsaid. From the boardroom to the hallway, I'm the last one they'll refuse. 'Cause the man who holds the numbers is the last one they will lose. Every choice becomes a figure, even when the page looks clean. And the one name I keep hidden is the cost behind this scheme. You see me by your shoulder when the numbers start to bend. You think these calm and steady eyes mean I don't break, I never spin. But it's not the ink that haunts me, not the debts I dare to call. It's what I keep off the books that costs me most of all. I'm the one who keeps this city balanced on a quiet look, and every night I pay in silence for what I keep off the books. Let you read how every evening you still walk me through the night. But a name that's tied to my name is a door they learn to use, and a softness they can lean on is a weapon they abuse. So I slide you in this drawer, love, where the silver binder hooks. You're the only golden figure I keep walking off the books. If I ever write you in here, they will price you like the rest. Turn your heartbeat to a margin line, a wager, just a test. So I hold you where they can't see, where no audit ever looks. And I live with what it costs me, keeping you off all my books. You see me by his shoulder when the numbers twist and bend. You think this steel behind my voice means I don't break, I never spin. But it's not the ink that wakes me, not the balance I can pull. It's what I keep off the books that keeps my midnight hours full. I'm the one who keeps this city standing on a measured look, and I pay for you in silence, staying always off the books.
Fluorescent halo on the pumps, moths throwing bodies at the light. Paper cup, a bit of coffee cooling on the hood tonight. Highway humming in the distance like a warning under glass. Motel sign across the roadside blinks and stutters as cars pass. Got a map rolled in the glove box, got a duffel on the seat. Got a quiet on this dashboard where your laughter used to be. I just closed the door on something that the papers won't explain. Left a building full of answers, left some money in a stain. There were faces at that table who don't ever lose a hand. I just smiled and took my cut, then drove it out of their command. You're at home with all the lights on, thinking I walked off your name. But I'm out here buying distance, so take the shadow too. But I've seen what happens later when the night leans in on you. Love is not a soft surrender, it's a line I will not cross. I won't trade your steady future for my narrow borrowed gloss. So I leave my heart at this gas station alibi. Just a car, a cup, a number on a lonely slice of sky. I can vanish past the exit, let the mile erase my style. Keep my name off every window, keep your world allowed to smile. If you ever feel me missing when the streetlights start to die, know I carved your peace and quiet with this gas station alibi. Motel key is in my pocket, little brass that feels like lead. Room out back with faded curtains, bolt that barely holds a bed. There's a note I didn't write, you folded where my wallet sits. Every sentence turned to metal, so I spared you from the hits. License plate is streaked with insects, trunk still smells like older nights. I've been washing off the evidence in small anonymous lights. I've seen men who love like cowards drag their women through their debt, watch them drink away the daylight, cashing in what love they get. I got ghosts that ride beside me, but they answer when I call. If I ever cross your doorway, it'll be on terms I hold. So I leave my trail at this gas station alibi. Let the cameras catch a stranger and the records tell a lie. I will carry what I carry, I will drive it down the line. You can sleep without the sirens trying to claim you as a sign. If you ever taste the distance when the dawn cuts through the sky, know I signed your name in freedom with this gas station alibi. A desk lamp cuts a circle in this room above the lights. Glass wall full of windows from a city that won't sleep. There's a ledger with your name in it, open on my right, beside a single heavy key and a pen that loves to bleed. Have a game of chess abandoned on a corner of my desk. Black king lean back, white queen lying on her side. Safe door breathing metal in the shadows to the left. My jacket on the chair, my tie thrown open wide. I found you
step out of square, with a mind built for the angles and a grin that never scared. I put numbers in your hand instead of waiting still. Taught you how to track a debt the way a hunter tracks a trail. Told you never sell a secret just to sweeten up a deal. In this life, loose words will find you faster than a shell. Now I'm staring at the columns where you bent our rules for fun. One small favor to a stranger that could burn what we've become. I keep the midnight ledger when this city runs out lies. I'm the hand that makes the numbers match the stories in your eyes. I can hide you in the margins, make your pages look redeemed. Turn a loud, risky mistake to a quiet missing scene. But every calm correction carves another mark in me. I'm the keeper of the midnight ledger, and the cause comes back to me, and the cause comes back to me. Tonight I see a payment that you promised, never sent. A name you let slip sideways to a mouth we do not trust. There's a message on my screen from a man who smells like rent, saying he knows where your steps land and he'd love to talk to us. I could dim his little world with a quiet call downstairs, have his door stay locked at morning with his plants still on the stove. Or I could let this run a while and feel you taste the air. Learn that every missing number casts a longer, colder shadow. Oh, I remember being younger, thinking I was made of stone, smiling at the man who warned me I would carry what I'd done. Told myself it's only figures, I don't have to throw the blows, but I still know every balance of each quiet vanished one. If you think these lines mean nothing, just a game of plus and minus, you're already on the edge of where the book stops being honest. I keep the midnight ledger when the doors are locked and still, when the higher voice is blessed and I calculate the bill. I can cover all your errors like they never touch the page, make your future look as spotless as a suit that hides its age. But every life I balance is a stone I haul with me. I'm the keeper of the midnight ledger, standing quiet, standing free. So I'll save you one last time, let this message never send. 'Cause the man who keeps the midnight ledger gives you chances, not your end. Drop down in the leather with the city on your coat, gunpowder on your knuckles, someone's name stuck in your throat. I pull the blinds and tighter, let the desk lamp draw a ring, slide a fold across the oak like it's just another thing. There's a chessboard by the window with a king half off his square, and a wall safe set in walnut that's been listening from back there. You think tonight was finished when you heard that engine fade, but power ain't the muzzle, kid, it's how the paper's laid. There's a file in this drawer with a judge who's keeping score. There's a phone that only reaches hands that owe me something more. I can turn a loaded charge into a fine they barely feel, or stack it like a staircase till it breaks a man for real. They sold you law as iron, straight as columns down the hall. I've watched it twist like wiring when the right name makes the call. You keep counting spent cases in the bruises and the fear. I keep counting who walks out when the smoke has left the year. I keep a leash on the law, pull it tight when the night gets loud, while you're out there in the headlights trying to calm a restless crowd. You see badges in a doorway, think they're coming just to bite. I know which ones heal and follow when I whisper in the night. Yeah, I keep a leash on the law, make it sit, make it fetch, make it stall. You swing the hand that closes, I decide who hits the wall. One day you'll wake at midnight with no engine in your ears, just a tower full of case files and a list of disappeared. You'll remember every corridor where we let a page go thin, every name we turned to numbers with a signature engraved. That's the point you'll feel this office tilt a little to one side when the weight of all that quiet starts to press in from the file side. I watch straight edge boys go righteous and get buried by the game. Watch the worst men in this district toast to order in my name. I don't dress it up as mercy, don't pretend this floor is clean. I just move the pieces careful so the doors we need stay green. And if sometimes in the window I see faces by my hand, they're the cost of every margin that still lets you walk this land. So I keep a leash on the law when the ground starts to slide, when the headlines need a villain and the bosses need a guide. You can count your wins in bodies, you can brag how many fall, but the list of who gets pardoned runs straight through this paneled wall. Yeah, I keep a leash on the law, walk these cases like a dog. I'm the calm behind the curtains while this city signs the law.
metal frame hums under me as the nightline pulls away. Window shows the outskirts where the neon fades to gray. Ticket folded in my pocket, one way out, no extra stop. Metal briefcase by my boots, with every secret under lock. Overhead light flickers once, like it's weighing what I am. The man who kept the numbers straight while other hands drew stealing plans. I never had to raise my voice to make the sharpest shift. Just move columns in the shadows, watched empires realign and drift. This city eats its dreamers, chews them up in alleys and suits. Some go down in concrete levels, some go down in handmade boots. I was never on the front line where the sirens learn your name. I was in the back rooms counting, wiring arteries of the game. Every deal ran through my ledger, every favor had a price. I saw brothers turn to strangers in a single column twice. You think power is the spotlight, kid, but that's not how it goes. It's the hand that moves the figures no one ever really knows. This city owes me nothing, but I balance what it hides. I keep the books for all its ghosts and all its polished lies. I'm the quiet co-divisor when the heated talk subsides, when the bosses want an answer, I'm the voice behind their eyes. I don't need a throne or corner, I just tilt the fault line slight. This city owes me nothing, but it moves the way I write. Now the skyline's just a memory, sliding backward down the tracks. Safe deposit keys surrendered, every backup burned to black. There's a phone inside this jacket that I powered down for good. Names that used to own the night now look smaller than they should. I could stay and keep it ticking, keep the veins of business clean, but I've watched too many kingdoms drown in numbers no one's seen. Every favor earns an interest, every secret calls a fee. Every night you smooth for someone steals a year away from me. I can live with what I told her, every line I crossed in ink, but the only debt this job won't let me tally its crooked figures up and make the balance stand. But tonight I ride above it, just a shadow on the rail. All the power that I tasted came tied to a hidden bill of sale. If you ever learn these numbers, you'll feel rich and cold inside. This city owes you nothing, but it takes you when you decide. Corridor lights are on, roof flame jug and never wane. Darker when I'm hanging, I love who lives in me. I take by the mind, screwing all the jobs I run. God walks away from power. This train forgets another thing. There's happened down in these trucks with a lot of window walls. Dark contracted for the tracks, remember name. Love contrast window with windows on other room. Love that simple with another room. Crack vinyl on the bench sheet, metal rack above my head, coat folded like a sleeping dog, bright and narrow bed, vending machine at the end car, humming through the carriage door. There's a cup of cooling coffee, rolling lazy on the floor. I watch my own reflection hover over all that black outside, as I learn to hold a secret, hands that never had to hide. I fed this place with quiet favors, moved his money, trimmed his claws, never asked them for a crown, just a right to write my laws. He gave me steel in my backbone, taught me prices for my skin, marked the cost of every favor, every loss and every win. But you started eating your own legends just to keep the hunger fed. So I'm taking what I walked in with, and I'm stepping out ahead. This train forgets my face when the daylight is the flames, but these tracks remember names. You can paint over my doorway, let another take my chair, but the steel under this carriage knows
streets fade to empty lots, then to fields and sleeping towns. Billboard frames with nothing on them, rusted stairs and quiet grounds. A porch light in the distance holds a circle in the dark. Somewhere like that I'll lay my jacket on a smaller, safer mark. No more calls at 3 in the morning, no more last chance, tight-lipped speech. Just a door that waits for my key, not for who I used to reach. I'm not trading in my nature, just the radius of my reign. Still the man who keeps a promise, just a little off your chain. I came in on a younger ticket, single bag and sharpened pride. Learned the language of the back rooms, how to stand and when to slide. Thought these rails would only pull me deeper into what I chose. Never pictured they'd be carrying me out before they close. This train forgets my face when the daylight hits the plains, but these tracks remember names. You can wipe me from your ledgers, let the next man wear my crimes, but these wheels have felt my footsteps, counting out their quiet rhymes. I'll leave you with your alleys and your bright and crooked games. This train gets my face, but the tracks remember names. Closing time glow on the TV, game reruns with no sound. Bar stool stands out relaxed on an empty common ground. My bed sits on the counter, catching circles in the light. Holster pressing at my ribs from one more crooked little night. There's a coaster mark around it, like a crosshair cutting glass, in a mirror full of people that I've led and made to pass. This city pays in favors more than any stamped out check. You can pull a kid from cuffs or put a collar around the neck. There's a folder in my locker that could set this place on fire. Names tied up in stairwells, quiet deals on concrete work. I've walked tape lines in the morning, shook the hands I flagged by noon, shared a table with the ones who choose whatever hits the room. They teach the lines, painted straight from handbook down the floor. I've watched it slide like shadows when they lock the station door. Every promise that I bent came back tighter in my chest. Every harmless little favor rewrote half the oath I pressed. So I lay my badge on the counter, talks too loud. Still I move like the border through the darkest of this crowd. You can quote me all the chapters, all the codes upon that wall. I'm the one that calls at midnight when both sides begin to call. Yeah, there's a badge on the counter and a line under my boots. I'm the quiet, crooked compass between the sirens and the suits. Some days I see a rookie with his collar stiff and clean, eyes still full of answers like a screen that's never seen. I could tell him where the stairwell meets the envelope and nod, how the radio says thank you when you never tell the squad. But I nod and keep it easy, let him earn his street and sky. Hope he finds a way to hold it without letting more men die. I've watched bright young heroes burn out quicker than a flare. Watch small kings on corner stools toast to justice in my stare. I don't wake up thinking savior, don't pretend I'm shining right. I just know which doors stay safer when I walk them late at night. And if my hands feel heavier when I clip this metal on, it's the pull of all these lines that keep this city holding on. So I lay my badge on the counter just to see what's in my eyes. Not a saint, not a villain, just a man who names the lies. You can't judge me from the daylight where the paperwork looks clean, but you're not here when this city asks which side will bleed unseen. Yeah, there's a badge on the counter and a code beneath my skin. I'm the one who keeps on standing where the law and loss begin. There's a suitcase by the nightstand, zipper teeth already closed. Room guard on the dresser by the TV running cold. Curtain barely holding the ones washed from trucks along the road. Ice machine keeps on complaining down the hallway like it knows. Your picture's in my wallet with a corner folded thin. You in that old cotton t-shirt, kitchen light on your skin. Check out time sits in a plastic frame with numbers 1 and 0. I'll be gone an hour earlier before the morning takes its hold. You said, baby, by a mailbox, park your boots by just one door. Trade these nameless little highways for some groceries on the floor. You could live without the stories, you just wanted me alive. I kept saying one more season while the season learned to lie. There were offers on the table, clean and steady, easy pay. But I'm the name they dial at midnight when they need things moved away. I don't beg for fresh beginnings, I don't ask you to stay true. I just trace this crooked road map and it always leads from you. If I stay, the past will find you. Follow mud into your yard. If I go, you'll taste my silence. Call me selfish, call me hard. So I'll leave the key by the door when I'm gone. Little brass proof that I chose to move on. I don't slam it, don't explain it, don't come crawling back for more. I just lay that quiet warning where my boots once crossed your floor. I'm a man who walks out calm, not a boy who runs from storms. And the road keeps cutting checks in these late night faded forms. There's a map across the table with a coffee ring like rust. Red pen circling a county where I almost learned to trust. Gas receipt beside the matches, motel logo on the glass. Every line another sentence I've been writing to my past. You wake up and feel the silence where my boots once marked your rug. See the hollow in the pillow and the shadow of one hug. If you ever see a number that you don't quite recognize, it's just me from some new highway hanging up before goodbyes. I don't drag a woman through the debts a man like me collects. I don't hide the kind of trouble that a quiet house attracts. If I love you, then I leave you where the porch light's soft and straight, far away from engines idling and a fist against your gate. So I leave the key by the door when I'm gone. That's the only kind of honest I can own. I won't sell you sweeter stories, won't pretend this road will bend. I just pay in miles and motels for the choices I defend. If you ever feel me near you when the night leans hard and long, just remember I'm the man who left the key and carried on. Carried on. desk lamp draws a yellow circle on this old mahogany. Columns running down the paper like a slow, familiar beat. Safe door waiting in the corner, metal humming low and cold. Blinds half closed on all these towers built of glass and steel and gold. Clock hand crawling past midnight, screen still glowing on my side. Folders stacked along the credenza, names and numbers, costs and lives. Down below the street keeps moving, but up here it's only me, weighing what a man is owed against the price of moving free. I remember when I found you, counting tips behind the bar. Jacket two sizes too heavy, eyes already past the stars. Pulled you up to run the errands other men were scared to touch. Showed you how to sign in silence, how to never lean too much. Kept the figures out in front of you, kept the trouble at your back. Moved a digit here and there so they would never trace your tracks. Every door you ever walked through, every room you left still clean, had a quiet mark beside it where I kept you off the screen. Numbers don't take sides like brothers, they just stare until they add. Every favor, every fracture, every quiet little bed. In the lines, in the ledger, all the crowns and knives are traced. Every promise, every whisper finds its proper little place. I don't hold a burning barrel, I just move a simple pen. Shift a column, touch a margin, and the world tilts for some men. If your name stays with the living or gets boxed and crossed in red, ain't decided in the alleys, it's decided here instead. Now your file is on my desktop, open bigger than before. Different numbers, different patterns, little gaps along the floor. Cash that never hit the system, faces I don't recognize, meetings that were never logged in questions sitting in your eyes. I can drag this to the folder where the ghosts don't make it back, or I can call and say we're square and let you keep your narrow track. But my code was never written on the walls or in the air. It's the stillness when I'm staring at the page and choose what's fair. Never write what you can't pay for, never take what breaks the chain, never bet against a partner you won't stand beside in pain. If you live by other people's secrets, keep your own life clean, or the first cut that the book makes pulls you straight out of the scene. In the lines, in the ledger, all the quiet kings are named. Every brother, every traitor carries interest just the same. I don't call the men with engines, I just breathe and guide
You're standing by the window, watching all those little lights, talking like the street, hurry whisper you at night. Tie a bit too loud, smile a bit too sharp. You think power's in the shout and the spark, but down here by the desk where the shadows start to bend, every story that you shout is my initials at the end. There's a lamp with a green shade, is the only sun we see. Ledger open like a wound that never lets a number bleed free. Columns full of favors, quiet debts and names, lines where the city hides its games. You think you move the pieces every time you raise your hand. I'm the one who makes sure this old house can stand. You want the chair, you want the car, you want the room to freeze when you walk through. But you don't watch the staircase crack or feel the floor complain under every move you do. I'm the man behind the ledger, counting every soul that thinks it's free. I don't need a crown or a headline, just the final say on who still eats with me. You play with thunder on the street below, I weigh the lightning in the dark. I'm the man behind the ledger, kid, writing what your glory really cost and most. See this old brass fountain pen, chipped along the spine, signing in a mercy, assignment at a time. Safe in the corner with a paint chipped door, holds more quiet ghosts than your stories of a war. You talk about loyalty like ink upon your skin. I can point to where it fades and where it thins. One loose promise and the numbers start to shout. You don't hear it over engines or your hunger to stand out, but I hear it in the ticking of that crooked wall clock there. Every second getting heavier on this leather office chair. You think I'm just a bookman, but I decide who disappears. I keep my tone level, my collar straight, while you dance on top of all these unpaid years. I'm the man behind the ledger, balancing your storms with what we've got. I don't wave a flag in the front row, I decide whose name stays ink and whose turns blot. You chase the echo of a louder crown, I guard the spine that keeps it from the dust. I'm the man behind the ledger, kid. If you wanna live long in this house, learn to fear my trust.
nightstand, plastic tag, it says 23. Faded curtains barely moving with the hum of the old AC. There's a map spread on the mattress, circles drawn in heavy ink. Duffel bag half zipped and waiting at the edge, right on the brink. Out the window by the icebox, there's a pump with numbers worn. You can hear the highway breathing like a low familiar horn. Phone screen face down on the table, your last message still in view. Every word says come back safe, every scar says don't you do. You know I don't sleep deep, I keep my boots close to the floor. Never hang my one good jacket on the back of any door. I have rules about these counties, lines I cross and lines I don't. Faces I'll remember and some names I simply won't. You gave me a small back porch, coffee steaming in your hands. Talked about a worn-out garden and a dog that understands. I just watched the steam go sideways, felt a siren in my chest. Knew the road was still my kingdom, knew your house could be my rest. There's a part of me that lingers in your driveway before dawn, and a part that hears an engine every time I think I'm done. So I keep the engine running when my heart says stay. Let the taillights do the talking when I drive away. I'm the outlaw on the highway that the night still trusts, living out between the motels and the weight of us. I can ride these empty miles like I was born alone, but I keep the engine running every time you sound like home. Do you remember that old diner where the jukebox ate my coins? Red booth under buzzing letters with a crack along the joints. You were tracing routes on napkins, little arrows, little towns. Riding someday by an exit like you'd pin my footsteps down. I could feel the trade inside me, all my rules for just your street. All the exits I kept open for your porch and quiet seat. Then a freight shook all the windows, shook my answer in its frame, and I chose the door beside you, but I walked out just the same. I don't send this as a promise, this is not a begging call. It's a man who built his armor, counting every risk and fall. I can't offer you a porch light that I swear I'll never pass. All I have is one more warning, and this tank's still full of gas. So I keep the engine running on these borrowed nights. Let the dashboard gauge and headlights be my only ride. I'm the outlaw on the highway with a soft spot for your street, but I won't lead what's behind me to your porch and quiet seat. If you ever hear an idling past your garden stone, just know I kept the engine running, so the trouble dies alone. The trouble dies alone.
Lamplight on the leather, dust floating in a quiet beam, ledger open on the desktop, numbers lined up like a scheme. You're sitting where I used to, hands clean, eyes full of flame. You think this view means freedom, you think this desk means a name. Safe homes in the corner, steel door breathing like a dog. Phone face down on the blotter, waiting for its midnight call. You like the blinds half open on that city at your feet. You like the way the silence makes your little pulse sound deep. You see the fountain pen shine, think it writes your future wide. You don't feel how every signature ties a debt to someone's hide. I watch knuckles turn to marble when the sums don't come out right. I've seen quiet gentlemen vanish between morning and the night. You say you want the pressure, say you're built to take the fall. You don't know the weight of knowing who will walk back through this hall. You don't want this desk, kid, you don't want this chair. Every line I lay your name puts a ghost into the air. You just see the polished wood and the keys to every door. You don't want this desk, kid, not the way it's nailed to the floor. Here's a drawer of sealed envelopes, calm and patient in their rows. Names and favors, quiet figures, every root that ever grows. Here's a smaller metal notebook with the numbers no one sees, folded in a faded jacket hanging by my office keys. You think power's in the handshake, in the suits and in the ring. Power lives inside the details that will wake you when they ring. One night they will call you gentle, ask you if the books still sing, ask you which name takes the thunder when the deal grows crooked wings. If you answer with a tremor, if you blink instead of breathe, they will know you were not ready for a stain that doesn't leave. You don't want this desk, kid, you don't want this chair. Every favor that you balance pulls a light out of the air. You just see the quiet carpet and the lock on every door. You don't want this desk, kid, not the way it's nailed to the floor. If you turn around tonight and walk back down that painted stair, you'll keep your soul still sleeping. You thank the man who put you there. You'll keep your soul still sleeping. You thank the man who put you there. Blinds have closed above the sidewalks. All the noise turned into haze. Desk lamp pooling on this ledger. turning years into a phrase. There's a fountain pen still bleeding where your number meets your name. Safe door humming in the corner like it's guilty of the same. On the shelf a glass chessboard, kings and pawns and frozen rolls. Every piece you're moving out there, I already see where it goes. You're sitting in that leather, boots still tracking in the street. Think you built a pure momentum, all adrenaline and heat. But the real weight in this building isn't locked behind the steel. It's the list of every promise and the price of every deal. There's a folder on this desktop with your face between the lines, and I'm the one who has to balance what you break and what you sign. You see money, I see pressure. You see glory, I see strain. You hear laughter from the back room. I count who remembers pain. 'Cause I keep the books where the knives all live. Every line of quiet cuts you can't forgive. In this dark ledger, every debt has teeth. It walks right at your shoulder when you leave these streets. You can bluff this city, you can lie in your sleep, but the numbers and the names, the ledger never sleeps. There was one kid came before you, same sharp grin and restless eyes. Thought he'd bend the code around him, thought he'd never pay the price. I wrote warnings in the margins, drew a line beneath his tape. Watched his chair sit at the table while his calls came in too late. Now his file stays in my drawer, paper thin from being read. He's a lesson in the margins, not a name we ever said. I don't threaten, I don't shout, I just told her what you do. I can't wash a soul with numbers, but I'll show the bill to you. In this room you're not a legend, you're a balance yet to clear. And the man who learns that early is the one who stays right here. 'Cause I keep the books where your truth runs deep. Every debt you think is buried comes back up to speak. In this dark ledger, every mark you leave pulls a little of your daylight out of reach. You can charm this city, you can talk it to sleep, but the ink you give me tonight, the ledger never sleeps.
numbers gone, faded pattern on the carpet where a suitcase has been drawn. Ice bucket sweating on the dresser, plastic cups still in their sleeve. Motel key on the nightstand with a number I can't leave. Your name folded on a napkin, tucked inside my coat for years. Every time I almost call you, I just count my turning gears. They don't dial me for the talking, they don't call me for the show. I'm the one who parks in shadows when there's nowhere else to go. Coming after doors stop slamming, after voices lose their edge. Straighten frames and clear the surfaces, check each footprint, wipe the pledge. I don't ask about the story, I just measure what it costs. Make sure nothing points to no one when the whole thinks it's lost. You live where the mail comes daily, where the neighbors know your name. I live where the curtains flutter to a late night exit flame. There's a line between our windows that no taxi ever crossed. I've been walking in circles, wearing souls on careful thoughts. I come after the noise when the shouting's dead and done. I'm the calm that wipes the edges, I'm the last unblinking one. I'm the ghost inside the hallway, I'm the lock they never see. I can leave a room like nothing, carry secrets out for free. Power's not in starting fire just to prove you got a voice. It's in owning what you're cleaning when you come after the noise. Sign across the highway, buzzing green above the pumps. Vending machine humming softly, casting squares of colored lumps. My duffel leaning by the mirror, zipper teeth all lined in place. One more bill inside the lining, one more nameless little case. Map folded in the glove box, line drawn out beyond this town. If I drive past where they know me, I don't plan on turning round. There are things I've left behind me, no white towel could ever take. Fingerprints in people's memories, quiet promises I break. But the one file I've protected, left unwritten, clean and clear, is the life I never started in that small house where you sleep near. I come after the noise, but I'm tired of coming last. I've been erasing other stories just to outrun my own past. I'm the ghost inside the hallway, I'm the hand that kills the trace. But I can't wipe out your shadow from the lines around my face. Power's not in staying nameless till you fade into the void. It's in driving towards your doorway, not just drifting after noise. Then wasn't all those little lies, talking like the streets already whisper you at night. Tie a bit too loud, smile a bit too sharp. You think power's in the shout and the spark. But down here by the desk, where the shadows start to bend, every story that you shout has my initials at the end. There's a lamp with a green shade, it's the only sun we see. Ledger open like a wound that never lets a number bleed free. Columns full of favors, quiet debts and names, lines where this city hides its games. You think you move the pieces every time you raise your hand. I'm the one who makes sure this old house can stand. You want the chair, you want the car, you want a room to freeze when you walk through, but you don't watch the staircase crack or feel the floor complain under every move you do. I'm the man behind the ledger, counting every soul that thinks it's free. I don't need a crown or a headline, just a final say on who still eats with me. You play with thunder on the street below, I weigh the lightning in the dark. I'm the man behind the ledger, kid, writing what your glory really cost and more. See this old brass fountain pen chipped along the spine, sign man in a mercy, sign man out of time. Safe in the corner with a paint chipped door, holds more quiet ghosts than your stories of a war. You talk about loyalty like ink upon your skin. I can point to where it fades and where it thins. One loose promise and the numbers start to shout. You don't hear it over engines or your hunger to stand out, but I hear it in the ticking of that crooked wall clock there. Every second getting heavier on this leather office chair. You think I'm just a boogman, but I decide who disappears. I keep my tone level, my collar straight, while you dance on top of all these unpaid years. I'm the man behind the ledger, balancing storms with what we've got. I don't wave a flag in the front row, I decide whose name stays ink and whose turns blind. You chase the echo of a louder crown, I got the spine that keeps it from the dust. I'm the man behind the ledger, kid, if you wanna live long in this house. Learn to fear my trust. on the nightstand, buzzing like a tide fly. Room key on a plastic ring, numbers faded, half gone dry. Suitcase by the crooked chair, tags cut off and corners torn. Phone face down beside the Bible, both of them a little warm. Coffee cooling in a paper cup, curtain never fully closed. I write your name in one soft sentence, then erase every word I chose. Outside there's a diesel humming, parking lot of borrowed steel. Neon from the diner sign throws a circle on my wheel. They still call the other number when a quiet drive is worth the fee. That name never touched your bedroom, that name never reached your TV. Out here on these lonely exits, I'm a rumor with a fate. With you I was something cleaner, here I'm just a ghost that knows his place. I could turn this car around, take the road that leads you home, but the miles between our doorways keep you safe and keep me gone. I'm the man with two names, one I sign and one I hide. One belongs to midnight engines, one belongs by your bedside. I'm the shadow on the highway, I'm the knock that never came. You get morning on your window, I get rooms that look the same. If you're wondering why I left you, it was written in my veins. You deserve a single story. I'm the man with two names. I still see your kitchen doorway, bare feet on a quiet floor, leaning easy on the counter, asking back by dawn or more. I would kiss you without answers, taste the coffee on your breath, knowing every call I answered was a trade with someone's death. So I folded up that evening like a note you'll never read, left my jacket on the chair back, kept my secrets, took my keys. Men like me don't plant a garden, we just pay to cut the grass. We don't promise you a future, we just hope the storms roll past. What I haul inside this silence isn't weight you ought to feel, so I drive it through the darkness, trade my heart for all this steel. I'm the man with two names, one that pays and one that bleeds. One sits buried in the ledgers, one once knelt beside your knees. I'm the line between your laughter and the deals I can't explain. You keep pictures on your mantle, I keep numbers in my brain. If you ever curse my leaving, lay the blame on all these lanes. You deserve a clean beginning. I'm the man with two names. Found your way up to reserves, interlocking the tired guards. Soft shoes on a hallway carpet, young eyes full of hungry stars. There's a lamp on this old wood desk, circle of light like a private stage. Ledger open in the center, every name another page. You say you're done with small winnings, tired of knocking at the door. You want the table where they draw the lines, like crumbs off the floor. I tell you power doesn't shout, the sign's quiet in blue-black ink. It waits behind closed blinds, watching who forgets to think. These folders stacked against a wall, they're not stories, they're chains and keys. One call shifts a row of numbers, someone drops to both their knees. You see the loud men in sharp jackets, think that's how the whole game runs. But the men who never raise their voice move louder than their guns. Look down at these columns, how the losses lean on gains. Every profit hides a person, every favor wears a name. You keep asking for a doorway, for the handshake in the dark. You don't know yet what it costs to keep the book and play the shark. I'm the one with a ledger in the dark, where your secrets turn to figures, every hope becomes a mark. You can climb out of the alleys, trade your bruises for a chart. But once you ink on this paper, you belong to what you start. I'm the quiet hand that never leaves a scar. I don't need a knife to move you, I've got the ledger in the dark. There was a boy with your same posture, thought the streets owed him a crown. I showed him how to weigh the debts, what to circle, strike or drown. He learned to balance cash with danger, learn which names you never touch. Then he slipped one number sideways, thought the house wouldn't see that much. Now his chair stays at this corner, pushed in, facing toward the wall. His files thin and folded, that's how quiet endings fall. So you want the keys to hallways where the doors unlock for you. You want phones that ring at midnight, waiting on the word you choose. Sign your place along this margin, let this city feel your weight. Just remember when you're counting, the same book will count Black phone started ringing on the dresser by my coat. Same low humming pattern that means someone's losing hope. I slid the drawer, checked the metal, left it sleeping in its place. Just a key ring, folded paper, and a cold look on my face. Hallway light was ticking, one weak bulb above the stair. Concrete steps kept every footprint of the nights I laid things bare. Locked the door behind me softly, turned the deadbolt with my thumb. Heard the quiet of this building ask what kind of man I'd become. He was waiting in the lot, hood up, smoking thin and air. Duffel bag beside his bumper, like a truth he couldn't wear. He said, I know I made it messy, but you've always had my back. One more time, just pull your strings and make the heat forget my tracks. We roll slow onto the highway, needle steady 82. Street lights sliding down the windshield, like the years I pulled him through. He tried laughing about the small time, crooked hands and little scores. I just watched the empty exit that would not be ours no more. I'm the quiet name they whisper when the story can't be told. I can wipe a stain from paper, but I can't rewrite the soul. My mercy stops at the bridge, that's the border of my grace. Wheezed up by the river, engine ticking out its heat. Faded paint across the pavement, open water at our feet. A low freight horn in the distance, one dim barge lamp drifting slow, like the ghosts of every favor sliding underneath the flow. He said, brother, don't you leave me, you're the only one who can. And his fingers dug my shoulder like a drowning reaching hand. I just opened up the duffel, saw the weight of what he'd done, zipped it shut and set it gently on the line we stood upon. There are young wolves in this city who think debts don't have an end, trade tomorrow for tonight and lean too heavy on a friend. I have carried other secrets, but I won't carry yours inside. Some mistakes belong to rivers, some confessions to the tide. I'm the man you call at midnight when your halo's turning gray. I can shift a few cold numbers, move a shadow out of day, but my mercy stops at the bridge. Past that stripe you walk alone. When the river keeps your story, it's no longer one I own. I can hold this whole dark city
stops at the bridge. That's the price behind my